All right, what's up, guys? I'm here with my creator, Adam Griffin. I'm sure you heard me talk about him before. As you can see, we're in a high rise in Miami right now. We're just wrapping up a trip. We just got back from taking a yacht around the harbor or whatever you want to call it. And I figured we sit down for like 10 minutes here, just make a quick video going over the last 6, 7 months of us working together and what we've accomplished and kind of how we've done it. So first off, it's probably in the title of this video, but Adam, how much have we made so far from high ticket sales? Basically just from working together.
So far, in the past 6 months or so, around $108,000.
Boom. So we just hit six figures a couple weeks ago. Big numbers. Obviously, it's nothing insane. There's people doing a lot more than that a month, but for a creator his size, it's a really good amount of number, to be making. We've had some rough patches, right? Like December through January was it was it was kind of empty for us. We weren't making a lot of money. I was trying to figure out what was going wrong on my ends, and then we were trying to figure out what was going wrong on the content end with Adam. But we've had some breakthroughs over the past few months, and now we're hitting consistent 20 to 30K months. And we're about to implement some ads too, and probably scale it to 40, 50K a month. But I just wanted to break down how we did this for you guys. So first of all, we went with high ticket. That's number one. When we came on, you were doing mainly the low ticket community. And then how much were you charging for one-on-one mentorship?
At the time when I met you, I think I had raised it to around $800.
$800. I know there was a time where you were doing it for like $400 to $600 as well.
Lowest 250.
250 for one-on-one mentorship. So the very first thing I did when I came on back when we first partnered up was we instantly raised it to 3K. And that works off the bat, right? You probably go back and watch my video from like 9 months ago, and that was us doing like 6K in a day. Looking back on it, that's not even that crazy. Like we were super excited about that. It was a good start, but now that's not that uncommon for us. Like that's not a crazy amount.
10K weeks.
Yeah. 10K weeks. Last time we were here in Miami, we did 6K day as well. So it comes and it goes. Back in December through January, we had a really dry streak and we cracked the code. But I mean, what would you say? I'll explain it more from my point of view, but from your point of view, what did we fix from that time to now?
So what happened was I began posting a lot of lifestyle stuff. A lot was going on at that point in time. I was going on a lot of trips. I was doing a lot of cool things, and I thought, well, the cooler things I do, the more views I'll get, the more, followers I'll get, and the more leads we'll get. 2 out of the 3 of those were correct, but the most important one was incorrect. I began posting more just like day in the life stuff, and because of the flashy thumbnails and the flashy stuff, cars and everything, it was rendering more views, but the lead flow was horrible. And we weren't getting many even opt-ins, maybe one a day, maybe if it wasn't a funnel hacker. Um, but what ended up happening was, in all honesty, I was watching a Instagram reel by Alex Hormozy, and he was talking about how he started a series on his channel called Cooking with Hormozy or something like that, where he's very passionate about food. So he thought, why not share this passion with my followers and maybe I'll get more views. I'll reach a new demographic. And he said that he did reach a new demographic and it did render more views, but nobody cared about his business offer because they were watching for the cooking. And I think these people are just watching to see what I do on a daily basis. And at the end of the day, when I say, hey, I'll help your business get from this point to this point, I have no proof behind that besides the look that I'm driving, and nobody knows how I got that car. My mom could have given it to me. So then I had a theory, actually. I think I texted Clark. I said, I have an epiphany. I'm going to purposefully drop my engagement. I'm going to purposefully drop my views. I'm going to purposefully only push out the rawest, most informational, most helpful content. Pretty much laying everything I know out on the table. And I began doing that. And at the first, like we expected, 10 out of 10 ranked videos, which 10 out of 10 on YouTube ranking is the absolute worst. Just horrible, but I didn't care for a day because almost immediately we saw people beginning to opt in, even though the views were 10 times less. 200 people watching a video on a PUBG driving your car isn't going to convert compared to 200 people watching a video on you quite literally sitting down with no music and just showing them what you're capable of. business wise. And immediately we started doing that. Then I started a new series of sorts. These super long speed running videos where I would just sit in front of a computer and speed run these stories that normally take people weeks to come up with. And immediately a couple went not viral, but like for my channel, semi-viral, 1 out of 10 ranking. And within a month or so of implementing that change, also with a couple very smart hires, we cleared a 30K month very, very quickly. So that was the biggest difference in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely the content. We both thought we had cracked the code with the POVs and the day in the lives, because that's what people a good example of that is Brez, right? He's doing that type of content and it's working super well for him. But you kind of have to find your niche. So if you're in my shoes and you're talking to your creator or just a creator that you're trying to work with, that's something that you need to keep in mind, right? Is finding the content that works for them. Not so much as getting views, because everyone can figure out how to do that, but getting views that convert. For Adam, it was not chasing virality and chasing views, but it was chasing high quality views, right? The ones that are going to opt in, that are going to apply, and then actually pay him to learn, right? So changing that was a big thing. And then on my end, I'd say the number one thing was probably getting a new closer, right? Because
It changed everything.
yeah, the hires are very slept on, and I think I slept on that for a while. I thought, we could just get a decent setter, we could get a decent closer, and that wasn't really going to make that big of a difference. But when we went from our old closer to the new closer, it was night and day, right? We went from kind of in the slumps, 10, like 5 to 10K month in February, and then in March, I think it was a 20K month, or maybe it was the month after. It was some type of time frame like that, and it was from hiring the right closer. Now, also, we made minor details changed in the funnel. There's so much when you're a growth operator or high tickets info scaler, whatever you want to call it, what I do, what you probably do watching this video, there are so many different things that you need to be looking out for. It's the copy of the website, it's the VSL and how it's scripted, it's the CTA. Are you going straight to booked calls or are you going to an application? For us, that was something that we tested this past month. Was we took away the application, which was our original call to action, then we put in a link straight to book a call in with our closer. And we tested that for about, I don't know, 3, 4 days, and it went terrible. We got like maybe one qualified booked call. And I think it's because for Adam's audience, at least, and I'm not saying it won't work for anyone, but for Adam's audience, they were too scared to book a call. There was too much friction. So we went back to the thing that works for us. But for you and your creator, it could be opposite, right? You could switch that and it could boost your sales by 20, 30%. So it's about creating different changes, testing. And a good friend of mine I was talking to about a week back introduced the rule of 72 hours to me. And I think that's a really important thing for operators to implement in their offers, which is testing things for 72 hours, right? So give yourself a 3-day time frame of testing one thing in your funnel and figuring out if it works or if it doesn't. And then from there, you can either revert or you can go and test something else. For example, with that CTA, whether it's booking a call or doing an application, or even if you have something else, you want to test that for 3 days and see what it looks like. See how many calls you're getting booked or applications, how much cash collected are you getting? And from there, make changes, right? Maybe change the headline and change that for 3 days and see if it converts more. And that could be a longer process, but if you do that for a month straight, you're going to see an insanely refined funnel at the end of it. Same thing, I think, with your content. You can give it, I mean, you kind of did that with the change from chasing views to informational, right? You tested it. We figured, okay, it got more views, but we weren't converting. So let's try something else. This game is all about testing. And I see so many people kind of just set up one funnel, and it's the creator's fault and the operator's fault, because the creator is doing what they're used to. The operator is doing what they watched on the YouTube video or what they did with their old creator, and nothing's being changed. So I think the lesson I want you to take away from this video is testing. It's the rule of 72 hours. And it's that just because you have a couple of bad months doesn't mean that you need to give up or that the offer's broken, because we made a couple really simple changes and it changed everything. Right now, we told ourselves last month, if we did a 20K month again, we would come out here to Miami, and then we did 30. So we did 10K over our goal. Just from these couple simple tips. But I mean, anything else that you think we changed or anything else to add just as like a simple takeaway?
One last thing. I'll end on this. Um, I think another thing that is really slept on that we fixed or we changed that I don't think we understand did as good of a job as it did was, um well, actually, I'll tell a story. I'm not gonna drop it immediately. I was having a WhatsApp conversation with my friend Andres. He's in the same niche as me, and he was pretty much a 20th of my following, and he was closing almost 3 times as many clients. And I was like, "Why?" He had a bit of a lower price, but he was speaking to me, and he said, "Well, I just implemented this thing. It's an ROI guarantee, meaning I will quite literally not stop working with you ever until you make your money back, contractually agreed upon in a paper contract." And I was like, "Wow, dude, I was closed-minded. I was like, "Wow, dude, that's a pretty hefty guarantee. How can you guarantee that?" And he's like, "Well, I'm confident in my abilities. Are you confident in yours?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I am." And he's like, "So why aren't you doing it? Were you scared you can't deliver?" I was like, "You're right." And he said, "There's a reason a lot of people don't offer it because a lot of people, I mean, you know the stigma behind mentorship, coaching. People, they do it because they don't make money from the actual business model." And he said that's why a lot of them don't do this. So it's a great way to separate yourself from the people who actually do this and the people who are just trying to make a quick buck. So I really thought about that. I texted Clark and I was like, "Hey, man, I want to work with these people until they make all their money back. So it's an absolute no-brainer." And then he was like, "If you're sure you want to do that." And I was like, "Absolutely." And ever since then, I think it's just been easier to close people because there's less worry. I'm not going to cut them off at all. I'll work with you for 5 years if I have to. Yeah. So that thing I think is very slept on. And that's something you should implement into your offer. I don't know if you're a creator or if you're a growth operator. If you're a creator and you don't want to do this, ask yourself why. Do you need to get better at what you do before you launch this offer? If you're a growth operator and your creator doesn't want to do this, ask to see his Shopify dashboard because he could be faking it. But it's something you should do. And if you're closed minded and you're hesitant to say, "No, I don't," that sounds like a lot. Are you confident in what you do? If you are, what's the problem? It's good. I'll end on that.
I like that. That was a good addition. I completely forgot about that, but that can definitely be attributed to a lot of our closes as well. So, but yeah, that's the main takeaways. I hope you enjoyed this video. I never asked this on my videos, but if you enjoyed this and it was helpful, leave a like because it actually does help push it to the algorithm a lot. Trying to grow my channel, get some more views and everything. So leave a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment with any questions, any feedback. Trying to get more consistent with the YouTube videos. So I'll probably see you in a couple of days to a week. But thanks for watching. And yeah, I hope it was helpful. Peace.